puts into the teachers' boxes and stuff,
Okay.
his flyers. So we're gonna be doing stuff like this once y'all build the relationships with the teachers, getting these going home to parents and stuff like that, so. And that's how he's talking about, we pay per Christmas a certain number, depending on how many students it are. So they, it makes it easy for them. The second thing is, this is going home with Kathy Schultz, but this is, a lot of times when schools ask for money, instead of giving them money, we'll give them a gift basket. And inside the gift basket, there's a gift certificate in here that's one free month plus one free registration fee. So we can tell them this is over a $600 value, and they'll usually do a silent auction on them, and they'll usually get $400 or $500. So it's like better than us giving them $100 or $200. Because
And we've had at least one sign up
From one of those.
from one.
And
Yeah.
I will
They
tell
get
y'all
you.
that anytime a school or PTA reaches out to y'all, you know, they all have their standard, these are our different level sponsorship packages. They range from $1,000 down to $250. We don't do those, this is what we do.
They take in-kind donations as
Yes,
well. And
we'll contribute that, but for us, we don't necessarily write them a check.
yeah.
We'll do things like that, we'll put together baskets.
Because it leads to
for them.
business, right? If then somebody buys the certificates because they know they need math help, then they come in to get their free month, and we end up signing them up for a year or whatever.
And Billy K, those are tax deductible, those donations on the way.
They
To
are,
schools,
really?
because they're for education.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna set this on the floor, Kathy, but this.
Even better, yeah.
They'll give you a slip.
Really? Okay, cool.
Okay, so day 2, resilient centers, as promised. Yesterday we talked about resilient directors and some of the things we're gonna do to make y'all even better. Today we're gonna talk about making the centers better, and that this logo is gonna hopefully come more into play today. So I wanted to start out with this. When at convention, Larry Martin wasn't able to be there, but they did a video with him, and I told y'all about 2 things that was a big takeaway for me yesterday. But the one thing that resonated with me about the whole convention, when they were math is fun, math is fun, math is fun. Larry said in the video, he said, math is fun when you're learning, but math is not fun when you're not learning. You know, and I thought, that's spot on, you know, right there. The kids, when they're doing good and they're happy and they're accomplishing, spinning the wheel and stuff like that, it's fun to them. But if they're in there and they're not understanding it, or they're getting circles on their sheets all the time, they're just miserable, and they get back in the car and gripe to their parents, which leads to terminations and cancellations and stuff like that. So I wanted to, you know, the fun part, I didn't want to lose that, even though I didn't buy in. I don't want to say I didn't buy into it. I didn't get much of the fun stuff out of the convention, is because they were like, everything was about math equals fun there. But so what we talked about on day 1, resilient benchmarks. And we do that already in our directors meeting, but we're going to be adding some stuff to our directors report that are really, Robert said something yesterday about what, I think it was Robert, might have been him, but what is measured is what gets attention is,
Robert said it.
when you measure something,
What's measured gets attention.
yeah, and so we're gonna measure these benchmarks as a group so that y'all, it's not just something we say now and then don't focus on like the terminations deal. So, and then we talked about resilient community involved directors. I thought Dan did a fantastic job. I told him that last night, and now it's up to us to just go put it into motion, you know, and really become more involved in our communities, our schools, and take that off Kay's plate, which she's been the one doing that in the past. But so, resilient center strategies. We talked about strategies and tactics yesterday. The logo. Math is fun. It's fun when we're learning. That's the light bulb. And then when we're always smiling to our students, smiling to our parents, smiling when we're on the phone, being a positive person leads to longer terminations. Get longer enrollments. So I wrote on here, our strategies are better education, more fun, and better customer service. So that's our strategies to accomplish those 3 things. Strategy to better education. So I'm going to make some kind of, I wanna call them announcements or some changes, additions to our company. And we're gonna be adding a director of education. Y'all know this person. It's Alex. And, I think one thing I've always been good at all my life is identifying people that are really talented, you know, and Alex, from the first day I walked into Circle C, I didn't like a lot about what they were doing. I even told Robert that on the phone, you know, I'm frustrated here because I think they're overeducated, you know, but the more I was around her and Kathy and got to understand what they were doing, the more I saw the importance of it. We needed to take some things out of there, but I understood what they were doing. And as I heard Larry say, you know, math is fun when you're learning, I realized that if I'm gonna really get serious about being better in our centers, I need to have somebody solely responsible to make sure all of our directors are teaching the same way, using the same assessments, being better at the verbal assessments, making sure our instructors in the centers are using the mathnasium methods and stuff like that. So I approached her. She graduated from college. She had a part-time job, and I approached her. And I drove to Austin, had dinner with her, and she's agreed to work 25 hours a week for us. She's agreed to visit every center at least once a month, and she's agreed to write teaching SOPs for our company so that we know what we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to be teaching, what we're supposed to be doing, so that we're all doing it. Because as Kathy Hill went to centers for me, one of the reasons, this wasn't to be sneaky on y'all or anything, I just wanted a neutral party to go in there and tell me what's going on different at the centers. That's what I want to know, because I want them running as much the same as we can. And she came back and after observing, and there's definitely things happening at one center that's not happening at another center. And it just makes it so hard as we grow. If people quit, if you lose, you know, if we don't all know what we're doing, it's hard for somebody to go in there and, you know. So anyway, I'm really excited. She's super excited. She's been on the job 2 weeks now, and all she's been doing really at this point is looking at learning plans, looking at how one of the things Robert talked about yesterday is improving that assessment score 5% a month. That's one of the things she's going to be responsible for, is making sure in the centers that we are analyzing our kids and making sure they're improving, which hopefully leads to longer retention of our students. So that's our strategy for better education. So specific tactics. Monthly visits to centers. Remember we talked about strategies, tactics. Here's the tactics we're going to take to improve our education. Improve training on verbal assessments. Y'all been seeing in the director's calls how been showing y'all how many assessments y'all give where they score under 30, which means you're not doing your job. I mean, we shouldn't let a kid ever go through a whole assessment that doesn't score 30. I mean, we should stop that kid before he gets past page 2 and give him a different assessment. It just leads to a very negative experience. And that all happens with these verbal assessments. Are we verbally assessing these kids and making sure? And I think y'all seen, and it's no accident, Kathy Schultz is doing she's got the highest percentage of not ending up with 30s, but they've been doing that for a long time in Circle C.
Hey, just a question, because we were talking about employee training yesterday and everything like that. Does everybody have the printouts on verbal assessments and how to conduct them?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
They have them, but they've just been thrown to the fire. Here they are.
Absolutely.
You know,
I just want to
doing
make sure that resource is out there. I want to make sure it was.
What Alex is going to do is work with each of y'all to give y'all tips, advice, because they were doing this at Circle C before, and that's why Kathy's fell right in line, and she's verbally assessing them, and the kids are getting the right assessments, and that just leads to more sign-ups, first of all, because it was a better experience in the assessment process. And
Presses the parents too.
it presses the parents, yeah.
When they see you do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say that that's the most, even better than giving them the right assessment, having the parent watch you do the verbal assessment and seeing what the kid doesn't know and what they do know. There's so many parents like, oh.
It's like a light bulb moment.
Yeah,
I've
see,
seen it
parents are like,
happen.
little Johnny's so smart, he does so good in math, he knows everything.
And then you ask
And then
2
you're
questions
like,
and it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, no, little Johnny
No.
needs help.
I watched one that had to give
I
me
went
a
out to one
fraction
center
as
picture.
soon as possible.
And the kids
Yeah,
can
I
find
know,
out.
yeah.
She's already got
Whatever
the
number
schedule
they
for
want.
next month, and I
And
will share that
reverse
with
the
y'all.
numbers,
She's
obviously
coming to
more.
yours on Sunday or Monday, I don't know.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
Maybe can't do it.
So, next tactic, implement new educational center tools. She's got lots of tool chest full of different tools for educating kids on multiplication, on division, using different types of manipulative, I can't never say that word, manipulative. But she's gonna make sure every center has this ammunition. I go to one center and we got 200 games in the center, and I go to another, we have none. You know, I mean, it's just like, we need to be consistent. All our centers should be the same, you know? And we've been slowly but surely implementing these things, like what do we do with assessment that doesn't sign up, you know, and making sure that we have a policy for that. And then implement consistent use of add-on assessments. I think we're really, really bad at giving like the computation for our older kids. You know, we give them, because we put them through so much, but we maybe shouldn't do it at the initial assessment. Once they sign up, we need to check their computation, you know, and some of these high school kids need numerical fluency, you know, we've got to get that into them. Multiplication facts fluency, they just released, and Alex has already done the training online. It's called multiplication and division.
We've used it once, it's
I
much
have.
better.
Is it?
I do too.
Yeah. So, but those are things, I think like y'all have used it, you probably didn't even know we had it yet, you know? And so they changed the numerical fluency a while back, and I didn't like the change on it, but anyway, there's just things that, so much happens at Mathnasium, and we're all so busy. Having somebody specifically responsible for this is gonna make us better, which is gonna lead to happier parents, longer enrollments, things like that, so. And then evaluate student progress. I'm gonna task her to make sure that our students are progressing. You know, it's like this catch-up plan. There's gonna be more, there's gonna be more things like the catch-up plan that she's evaluating to make sure that not that we're just moving kids forward, but these kids are moving forward with improvement, you know, and things.
With
So,
the knowledge they need, right?
yeah. So sometimes when you say that, you know, people think, well, you don't care about their education. No, I do care about their education, but I care about our customer, the parent, being happy, you know. And I'll be the first one to tell that parent, you know, we talked about this when you signed up, but I also understand that parent's paying us $400 a month or whatever it is. They are our customer, you know, and so we have to give them what they're looking for, which is improvement. You know, we need to show them on a regular basis that their kids are improving. And then last, I already mentioned, right, educational SOPs. So we're gonna have everything from educational SOPs to operational SOPs, you know, that we're gonna put it down in writing how our center should run.
So is Alex already working?
Yeah, she's been on the job 2 weeks.
Okay. Does she still live in Austin?
Yeah, she's working mainly from home, cause
Did you notice that she's online at like
When
7
you're
a.m.
checking in,
every
you're
morning?
like, why is Alice Munoz checked in? Ding.
I haven't really noticed it because
Yeah.
I know, and I go straight to the else,
She's
I don't look
she's
at
on
everybody
7
else.
a.m.
Yeah,
She pops up first in the.
All I know is that I worked on my schedule last night and you two were still signing.
So it worked out good for her, because with her other job, you know, I said, just give me 25 hours a week, that's what I want. And she sends me a schedule at the end of every month for the next month. I've already got all of this month, September's, when she's gonna be at y'all centers and what she works. Some days she starts her in the morning. Some days at her job, she works till 1 o'clock. She starts at 2 o'clock and works till 6 or 7 o'clock when she gets home. But I trust her, you know, I trust her to do a good job. I trust her to work from home, and I think she's gonna make a difference. And I can just see even an excitement in her that I've never even seen when I worked with her in the center and teaching and
No,
stuff.
because that's her passion.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
It
that
is.
is her passion, to make it right.
Yeah,
Education, yeah.
yeah.
Can I add, just not right away, but one thing, I would say I'm having a greater and greater percentage of kids with learning differences
Yes.
in my, you know, we had a lot of ADHD and a lot of that before, but now I'm getting more and more that have autism
Yes.
or who are in special ed school. Eventually, can we add some of that on hers, like strategies for that, or?
Sure.
That's definitely something.
There's like different ways of teaching
What
these
now?
things.
It'll lead into
Well, I'm saying
that
is,
program.
if you're gonna advertise the SSES program,
That's,
if that's coming, that's where I would advertise.
mhm.
Yeah, we are getting into that
Okay.
too, so, but,
I didn't know that.
I mean, and Dan can tell you about the community involvement and
Mhm.
doing that program.
yeah, that's, if we were really good at that, we could, instead of just saying, oh, yeah, we can handle that, we could say, not only we can handle it, we're good at it, you know, that would be
Yeah.
having, and me and her have been sharing ideals back and forth, and I'm letting her, you know, there's been some things I thought would be good. She goes, I don't know if I like that. So, oh, well, just keep it in your tool chest, you know. And one of it we talked about was this needs to be standard. So how do we handle unruly kids? You know, this is different in all of y'all's centers. You know, I go there, I see it. We should have a standard how we do it. You know, and then it's you as a director or the ACD or LI. That's how we do it. When that happens, this is what you do. You know, and we have a procedure for handling those kids. So the next thing is strategy for more fun. So here's my strategy for more fun. It's Kathy Hill. So she's
Are you fun, Kathy?
You must be.
so
Take her to
No,
blackjack games. She's fun.
I think Jennifer was more fun yesterday.
Jennifer was a lot of fun.
so much
Duck.
much like Alex, I noticed early on that Kathy was could be very beneficial to our company, and so I've steadily challenged her to take on a bigger role than just being a customer service rep. Not that just being a customer service rep's not something, but and so I asked her, would you travel to all of our centers and just take a look at what's going on? Because I knew like when she went to Circle C, she didn't have a clue. She didn't learn much because there's just too much stuff going on. But as she got to her last one, now she started to understand binders and assessments and kids, you know, just the process of what goes on in there. And so I could tell every time she'd come back, she was getting it more, you know. And so I've decided that she's going to not only to be our more fun, she's going to be our new operations manager and director of more fun. And
Check it out on the website.
this sounds silly, but we are going to every month or every 3 months, we're going to add something new in our centers to add more fun to them. You know, one of the things I learned at convention. Have y'all ever seen what Navy SEALs do when they go through training where if they want to quit, they have to ring this bell? So one of the speakers they had, this franchisee, they have a, what do they call it now? I'm going to forget. They have a bell at the front of the center, and when kids have an error-free day, they get to ring the bell. And this director talked about, you won't believe when you have a parent in front of you, you're doing an assessment when the kid comes up and rings the bell, and all the other kids know to applaud and root them on. They have an error-free day. They didn't have any mistakes on their sheet.
Oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah, mistake-free
Oh,
day.
error.
They got 2 stars every
I
time
was
they get a
hearing-
sheet. Instead
I'm
of,
sorry, I was hearing error, A-I-R. Like,
and so
error-free.
that's just an example of, you know, adding something in the center that another center had. I don't know that I like this that much, but they had like a little putting green in the front of their center, and the kids got to come in. The first thing they did was get to put the ball in the hole, and I don't even remember what they got, if they got a star card or whatever, but the kids just came in excited from the beginning to do stuff. So Kathy's gonna be, between learning what other centers do and me and her talking, she's also gonna be visiting all centers like she's done in the past, and working on the operations SOPs, like Alex is gonna be working on the educational SOPs. So that leads us into our specific tactics. How are we going to accomplish more fun? Well, Kathy's going to make monthly visits to the centers. She's going to ensure centers are following fun policies, you know.
Sorry, that sounds funny.
And
It sounds funny, but
No, I
when
know.
I've gone into each center, just the last time I did that round, some are, I'm not gonna say what centers are what, but there's snooze fest centers. It's like, it's so boring in
But it
here.
is true that some days,
Or
some days, no matter what I do, the kids are just like.
They're down, right. So then it's like, okay, how can we make this more fun?
Yeah.
while they're
That's
having
where the
that.
instructors come in and you gotta,
Yeah, I think it's
Have
just,
that open
I think it's
communication.
just being focused on this
Yes,
right
yeah,
here. You know,
yes.
we all, if we'll focus on it more, it'll rub off on the kids. And that may mean, you know, instructors wearing these t-shirts in there instead of the red mathnasiums, you know, whatever it takes. But it's giving them instructors the ammunition to, hey, when a kid's down, here's how we handle it. We take that kid out, take him to the game table and play a game with him. I don't know what it is, but something to change his world a little bit and get him, we want him getting in the car with a parent happy, not, that just made my day worse. I had to spend an hour there.
It could also be popcorn day, or
Yeah.
taffy day, or,
Yeah, we do that stuff in the summer, and y'all see how good it works, you know, why don't we do
Well,
something?
right after they did at school for 8 hours.
Yeah, I've been asked why we don't do like the summer, the fun games throughout the whole year.
well, they like that
Some
estimation.
kids are like,
Yeah.
well, some kids are like, I just don't wanna come during, my parents can't bring me during the summer, and if y'all are doing game, why can't I do game during the
We
time
should
I'm
just
in session?
implement that throughout the year, just kinda year round.
We're not doing estimation on you on
Implement, implement new fun policies.
200 M&Ms is not fun. Okay.
The other thing that that y'all are gonna start seeing it with Kathy is she's gonna have monthly Zoom calls with y'all and give y'all, we don't know yet whether it's 15 minutes or 30 minutes, but where y'all just get to vent to her, you know, and say, here,
Whoa,
Poor
poor
Kathy.
thing.
Bring it on.
She's gonna mute us all.
I'll hear you, I'll see
And
the
she's
mouse
just nodding,
moving.
nodding away, yes, I hear you.
And then
That's what I would do.
and I'm sitting on the side just giggling.
so, but it's gonna be your one-on-one time with her, what's not working, what is working, you know, what you would, hey, can we bring summer games in? Can we do estimation? Can we not, you know, can we get rid of the wheel? Can we add a wheel? You know, well, like Cody has 2 wheels at his center. He's got a wheel for what y'all do for the master check, and he's got another wheel that's if they complete so many sheets for the day. If they complete like 8 sheets, I don't even remember what it is, but because we don't have a policy on it. But he on that wheel, it's a less. They get like a bag of chips or some candy or something out of it, $1. Yeah. And so, and they love it there. You know, the kids, they work hard to get to that other wheel too, besides getting the master check wheel. So, but again, inconsistency. One center's got 2 wheels, everybody else has got one. When we started Circle C, we didn't have any, you know, and so, and some mathnasium owners don't like the wheel. They think it's a distraction, but it's fun. You know, the kids like it. They all stop to root them on. And are you going to gamble, or are you going to spend for more, or are you going to you learn the kids' personality. So, all right, so strategy for improved customer service. So y'all kind of seen my theme where it's been going. We've got another promotion or new title. We're going to make Jennifer's going to become our director of customer service. And we're going to focus on customer service from here on out. We're going to be looking at them lesson 360s, not just the good ones. We're going to be focused on the bad ones. And she's going to call them, talk to them, try to let them know that we care about them. And, you know, letting the 7s and 8s know that doesn't really help us. It hurts us, you know, so because the people get those reviews over and over. They don't just get them one time.
Oh.
They get them when they're new, they get them when they've been there a while, and they get them when they terminate. Well, if you've done a good job and you've expressed to them that 9s and 10s are what we need, then maybe they'll give you that 9 or 10 when you talk to them. But really, it's just letting people know that we're focused on this. We're focused on our customers being happy. We're focused on you staying longer with us. And so me and her's already had a few talks about different things. But she's the best at it. If you could ever just sit in here during the day and listen to her, she knows when to be firm with a parent. She knows when to be sweet with a parent. She takes time to get to know the families, the kids, the things like that. So she was super excited when I asked her to do this. But so what is our tactics going to be for better customer service? This. Because this all leads to customer service, in my opinion. Having more fun in the centers, making the kids learn, and keeping that smiley face on us, on us, for the parents, the kids, when we're on the phone, whatever. That sums it all up right there, our logo. You're gonna have that cup hopefully on your desk, and hopefully it'll make you think just to be more conscious of it. And then I put the smiley face there. So we just need to implement, increase the amount of time we're smiling. And I'm telling y'all, when I took that sales deal, I thought it was the stupidest thing in the world when I heard them say that. I mean, I was like, whatever, man, I don't need to smile and talk people into coming to Matt Daisy.
I'm telling you, he changed the way he answers the phone every time. Hi, this is Billy, how can I help you? And it's totally different.
Totally
It
different.
is.
It's like, I agree.
I do too.
It definitely so, but it's all day long. It's not just on the phone. You know, we need to all practice, you know, smiling more. And like we were doing, just think about yesterday when we were having fun at that place. I mean, you just feel better when you're doing all that kind of stuff. So my picture of resilience. We talked about resilience yesterday. Who's being the only person that can pick yourself up and be better? And I said I need y'all to be my picture of resilience. The directors. So yesterday we talked about directors. Today we're talking about these three girls picking us up, making us better, making us, you know, become a better company. So I already said that about Alex, but I do about all three of them. I trust them to be resilient, responsible, to pick us up, aka be accountable on their own without me having to be micromanaging or question them all the time. I just trust them to go get the job done. So that's kind of the end of my presentation of what I want to cover this weekend. But what I want to do at this every year, and I'm going to change kind of some things to hopefully make more opportunity for y'all, and hopefully make y'all want to be at this, because it's not only a fun time, it's a time where you get annual bonuses. But we're going to start with some annual awards, and we're going to change. Our year is going to now kind of be September to August. I just like that feel of when school's back in and having it's our school year. So these awards are going to be based on 21-22, and we're going to start out with best growth from September of 2021 to August 31st of 2022, and then we're going to have best ratios. Then we're going to have top customer service, and then we're going to have our MVP award. So we'll start out with, remember we've been talking about benchmarks. Our benchmark for every single center is going to be a 30% per year growth. This is obviously it's harder for the ones that are already in the hundreds, easier for the ones that are in the less, but it's doable. You know, it's very doable. So this is last year, from September to August, Aliana had 0 growth. That's fixing to change. But they have about the same amount of students this year on August 31st as they had last year on September 1st. Steiner Ranch had an 8.7% increase. Atascocita, a 23.1% increase. And our winner is Circle C with a 29.7%. So we have some nice awards for y'all to put in your center and show everybody. Kathy was our number one. So I'm gonna stand back here so I can get to the other one. So our next, our goal. Any of y'all that achieve the 30% get $1,000 at this, our Billyvention next year.
Forget what I said yesterday, you're 0.3% away from the 30%.
Yeah.
You're already there.
And that was after tearing it down. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we tore it down for a few months and got rid of
Right,
it. So-
absolutely.
All right, so this is what you have to achieve. This is how many, this is students, not revenue. Aliana is at 62 on September 1st. So by September 1st next year when we meet, or August 31st, you have to be to 81 students. I think
You're gonna blow that
Oh,
out.
you're gonna be there before the end of this year.
Yeah.
Steiner Ranch is at 77, start September 1st, so they have to get to 100. We've been at 110 before at Steiner, so it's doable.
Yeah, I got all the way up to 88.
Atascocita has to go from 64 to 83. And Circle C has to go from 113 to 147. Circle C's had 200 kids before. So,
You got that.
yeah.
I may die.
But you'll do it with a smile.
We're gonna have 22 seats filled every hour once you're open.
It's more the progress report.
Yeah, it's the progress report copy.
Okay, so that's our first award, first category. Next is ratios. Y'all, this is something we already focus on. We try to stay that 2.7 to 3.0 benchmark. Y'all all found it tough in the summertime, which I get. But this is about all year long. What is your average for the year? And so this year, Cody, from 12 months of working, he averaged 2.55. And Circle C averaged 2.64. Steiner Ranch for 12 months averaged 2.78, which is in our happy spot of 2.7 3.0. And our winner, Aliana. Hey, and y'all get to cheat over Maria because y'all get to help keep your ratios down by teaching yourself. Or Maria,
Maria doesn't teach.
she was my
I don't know
experience.
how you run the center without teaching. We talked about that.
So, great job though, Maria, keeping yours at 2.83 for a year.
Good deal.
All right, so next year, besides your monthly bonus on that, here at our Billyvention, if you average 2.7 or higher, which would have been Steiner and Aliana this year, you're gonna get a $500 bonus when you come here next year. If you do 3.0 or higher, you're gonna get another $1,000.
Does that mean I get $500?
No, this is,
Not this year,
this is starting,
next year.
this is,
I know how I'm like. Is that what I get?
Just keep it up though. Keep doing what
Yeah.
you're doing.
all right, top customer service. This is again, the NPS we talked about yesterday. Our benchmark is gonna become 80 or higher, which no one is there right currently. Circle C, this is, I think I did mine on, I don't know if that's last 3 months or last 12 months, but I did all of them the same. Circle C's got a 48.
Yeah.
Aliana's got a 59. Steiner Ranch has a 64. And our winner, Cody, with 79. He's right there at the benchmark.
Yay, Cody.
So, but you know what you can't hide here is how we've been running our company. This is me, this starts at the top and goes down. Is how we run our company has not made us be what he showed y'all the averages yesterday, 83 for South Texas, 84 for company. And I think that's just a picture of that we haven't been as customer service oriented as we need to be. And I think these scores are gonna naturally go up when we all start to focus on these tactics. So Cody's couldn't be here, he had something come up, but there's
Oh,
his.
wow, that's beautiful, yeah.
And how about when parents walk in his center and he's got the
And then
top
he
customer
has-
service?
Yeah, and he has the perfect
Yeah.
setup for
To
when they come
display
in
it,
to
I
display
know.
it.
So
Yeah.
Cody may watch the video. So Cody,
Good
All right, so next year, if you get up 80 or higher for the next 12 months, you're gonna get $1,000 for that next year. So our last category is the MVP, Billy's benchmarks. Now, we have the director's call every month. Y'all know what we focus on, where I rate y'all in each category. There's the categories that we rate y'all on, plus or minus student count. Monthly is one category, quarterly is another. So not only how you did last month, how you did the last 3 months. Revenue increase from month to month, your ratios and your terminations. And so this category, it's better to be lower than higher, because remember how I'll put y'all, whether you came in first, second, third, or fourth place, and then I average it out, what's your overall. So that means on all 4 of those categories, Maria averages being right in 3rd place in all of them. So that's your overall average. And then Atascocita, Cody's 2.67, so he's also close to being about in 3rd in most of the categories. Then Circle
Oh,
C
I won. I'm sorry.
is 2.33, so Kathy averages being in 2nd place in most all the categories. And for the last 12 months, our winner.
Yay!
Process elimination.
So you get the glass cup here to show off that you're,
Ooh.
Cool.
That's gonna be cool.
Is this like the hockey? She has to drink beer?
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody want champagne?
Champagne, I thought they did champagne out of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm sure they do.
so, what we're gonna do for the MVP is, this is gonna be a bigger, higher bonus than what all the other categories, because it's really being focused on the benchmarks, and it's gonna replace your Christmas bonus. You know how I just give y'all $100 a month, if you're with me all 12 months, I give y'all $1,200 at the end of the year. That doesn't replace it this year, y'all are getting that this year, so I'm not gonna change anything in the middle.
She's picking like that. Like what?
But whoever comes in first next year is gonna get a $2,500 bonus here at Billy Convention. And whoever comes in second is gonna get $1,500. And whoever comes in third is gonna get $1,000. And, fourth is 0. So you don't wanna come in fourth, next year. But what I wanna tell y'all is that adds up to $5,000. Currently, I'm giving the four of y'all $4,800. But I'm gonna do it based on performance, you know, I mean, if you execute these things and take serious those director's calls and looking at your benchmarks and getting better at them, I wanna give you more money. If you come in first, I don't wanna just give you the $1,200, I wanna give you the $2,500. So this chart is gonna be a new chart that's added to our director's call on our director's report every month. And I did it for the last 12 months, starting October 21 to September 22. And I want y'all to see, this is when somebody quits, the system looks at how long were they enrolled. We started this yesterday with talking about increasing our enrollments. So hopefully we're gonna see these start to do this. As we focus on better education, better customer service, more fun, we start seeing people stay longer. If you'll see, and I did this in the colors that I use on Google, so it'd be easy for me for when y'all have assessments. Black, Circle C, purple's Aliana, green's Atascocita, and blue is Steiner. But this one was real interesting to me. If you look at Circle C, at one point, their average person was staying 18, 19 months. And look how it just steadily went down as I took over the center. But it's because all these people were paying like $200 and coming unlimited. And so, and they got away with it forever because the ex-owner was just a pushover. He was a very customer service oriented guy, you know. And then I came in and said, you're gonna have to pay more, you're gonna have to come less. And they said, well, screw you, you know, they quit. And so this steadily went down. But now look where it is. It's still our center that's got the high, it's right up here with Steiner. Both of them are staying an average of 12 months. So that y'all saw yesterday, the average on the report, or I don't know if we gave it, we said it, is 14 months for mathnasium. Dan and I don't believe that's a valid.
Realistic.
A valid
I
number,
don't either.
yeah.
But
I don't either.
But if it is, we don't have anybody at 14. And this, you know, like Aliana's 8 is average. These are ours. I know these are real. You know, I looked at them myself unless ZY is messed up. But this is what.
These are the ones that are quitting though, right?
Yeah.
Because I know we have some.
Yeah, no, until they
Yeah.
quit, they don't get put in the stats.
Right.
These are average length of enrollment from terminations.
Yep.
Previous
okay.
12 months.
So September would be September 1st then. It's not the end of the month yet.
As of the September
As of-
first.
Okay.
September 1st, yeah.
Gotcha. Because I've got several that I know are leaving at the end of the month.
Keep
Which
in mind,
I'm working with my
the
mom.
difference though, the only thing I'll point out, and Billy knows this, by raising the rates
Right.
that they've done,
So I'm gonna talk to
they've turned around, and if you looked at the revenue with the amount of students and the terminations compared to folks who, like I was talking about yesterday, are at the 179 because they want to grandfather that 7-year person, the revenue is night and day. I mean that's huge. That's where your bonuses are.
Well, yeah.
But I would say, yeah, so it's just termination, because I noticed the people who tended to stay longer are still staying, right? So
Yeah.
they aren't necessarily showing up.
Yeah, well, there's a study that Robert told me about, that there's somebody that says if you keep somebody for 2 years, you'll
Kumon.
probably have them. Yeah, Kumon did a study.
Kumon did a deep study.
If you keep them 2 years, you'll have them for 7 years. You'll have them until they age out from school. They'll be
Yeah.
there forever.
So, we
So
have a couple
again,
of
if
that.
we can do the things to keep them faithful to us that long, it just makes all your numbers easier because you're not always replacing the termination.
Mhm.
But remember, if we can make these just go, each one 1 month, just 1 month, $130,000 or $40,000. They go 2 months, we're talking about $300,000 in revenue next year. We can do a lot of fun things, you know, if we can do that. So this is my focus, you know, is to get this up at least 1 month. This is one of my big takeaways from convention. When I told y'all yesterday, the guy said, if you just get them up 1 month, look what it did for this center. Okay, how do we do that? Didn't tell us how we did that. But I said, I'm gonna go back and develop a plan how to do that. I want to do that. That makes sense to me. So, 2021-22 length of enrollment, I put it in a different way and we started yesterday with, I just had this part of the chart, I didn't have this, but I wanted y'all to see it in writing. If Aliana could go up to 9.5 versus 8.5, means 26,000, and I'm not gonna say every single number, but if y'all go up 1 month, y'all just see the added revenue to your center, which affects everything. It affects the Billy's benchmarks, it affects your MVP scores, all that kind of stuff. So, if you go up a month, another $1,000 when you come here next year. So I think we added up, it's like $6,500 potentially for you on these things that we're adding up to be focused on being more resilient. I did forget one award. I promised yesterday that the best gamer was gonna get $100 Amazon.
We all know who
Man.
He won first and second.
This wasn't in the presentation when we went over it.
So, questions or comments?
So, the only comment I have is, I would like to have, I know we have a director's meeting, but we're usually like trying to get through stuff so we can get going, right? It would be nice if we had sometime, we had a forum, we could just discuss some, like, or talk about some things that we know have noticed are problems or noticed.
Well, that's what my monthly calls with y'all are
Okay.
going to be.
And Alex
Okay.
being in your center.
And Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your educational concerns will be with Alex, and then all the other stuff.
Okay, so
Is-
like, the
I'm
fact,
gonna get with y'all once a month.
alright, cause like I noticed for me, one of the things that I feel like are major dissatisfactors right now with all my parents is everything, they're like, well, I didn't understand that from the contract, I didn't understand that. I don't have time to go through every fine point with them at enrollment,
Right.
but,
See, I think, and Dan can probably speak on that, because he's been there for a while. I think the key is realistic expectations when you talk to that parent, figure out what the key points are. Obviously, cancellation's the key point. Make sure you're covering that. We don't like Dan, he doesn't even have a termination fee, but he is hard and fast on, you have to give me a 30-day notice. So basically, I was telling him this morning, I said, well, you really don't even have a contract with them then, do you? He goes, I really don't. He said, they can quit anytime they want, as long as they give me a 30-day notice. And he said, I'm a little lenient on 5 days. The first 5 days of the month, I'll give them. But on day 6, I'm not giving you a refund, I'm not giving your money back. Which,
see, I feel like our customers are more the other way, they're willing to pay a termination fee, they don't wanna give the 30 days.
Exactly.
Right, yes.
Yes,
I just
that's
think
what
you
we're
gotta
coming
be
across.
very clear up.
but in the beginning, I know when I give an assessment, I'm very clear about how you can quit if you ever wanna quit. We don't want you here if you don't wanna be here. That's how I always tell people that. And if you're unhappy, which is not gonna happen, but if you're unhappy, I'm not gonna hold you to 7 months, 12 months, or even 2 months. All I'm gonna ask for is, because I gave you a discount for signing 7 or 12 months, is that you give me a $199 termination fee to make up for some of that savings that you got.
No, I give that. And then the other thing I feel like is the major one that they're complaining all about is the ones who are hitting the end of the enrollment and didn't understand they were gonna be,
That they thought they were
So
done.
that, yeah.
they were done.
I just want to tell you real quick, and y'all,
Oh,
I mean,
Leonard, no.
Dave's gonna add this to this and have something better than I do, but exactly to what we've been talking about on the terminations, that's where, it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, you know, on that, but I would dig into why are they giving 5 days? Why are they, you know, terminating in the first place? And that's where we're gonna get that extra month or two.
For me, I have less than 5% of my families that think that it's going to be over at that 12-month mark or whatever. But I think it's more about how you phrase it. And I also tell them, look, we do this for the benefit of you. So you're staying grandfathered in at the price that you're paying. So if our fees are increasing, you're not feeling that. And now I know Billy might do things a little different, but that's how I phrase it.
No, we actually have price increases, we always give them an opportunity to
To lock
extend
in.
the
Well,
same
and
price.
that's the thing, right? You're staying grandfathered in at your rates, because let me tell you, my rates go up all the time, and the nice thing for you is you're never going to experience
But
that.
they're not quitting. Most of the ones who are quitting at the end of the 12 months or 7 months or whatever aren't quitting because of money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're quitting because
The kid is, as they say, burnt out, they need a break,
Mhm.
they have too many other commitments, we hear the same
Yeah.
thing.
We
But-
always
but-
say
they're
that.
at level now.
Yeah.
They're
Well, and it's all
happy.
about those post-assessment results in my mind, right? You're consistently reminding them, yeah, we're making improvement, but remember,
But
we're
there's
only
still
here
so much
when we.
more that we can work on.
Yeah,
I
don't
just think that
forget
we're-
why you signed up, right?
But I
This
think
is-
it's more that they feel like they got hoodwinked or tricked. It's not even so much like, it's not even so much that they wouldn't do it. It's that they feel like, oh,
Why
Yeah,
do
but
you
you're-
think they were hoodwinked?
Yeah, but you,
they feel like.
you sold them
How many
though.
how many times have you heard? But see, I guess, I mean, as I said, I usually get the termination. I don't always get to the, once your termination is finished, you'll go on to automatic.
So
once
again,
a month
this is
and-
writing a procedure.
It's,
of
and
what-
I'm working on these SOPs
But it's just like
now.
so much to get into the, and then they don't remember what they were, you know.
I know,
Well, something that I mentioned to him yesterday, when they're coming up to the end of their enrollment,
Yes.
doing a final review a month before that,
That,
and then just ensuring them that, hey, we still need Johnny in here because he's not doing A, B, and C well. He's made progress on these parts,
There's
but,
still work to be done.
but there's still work to be
Well-
done, and so doing that
Yeah,
as a
so that they don't look at that end date as the end.
That's the
Yeah,
same
it
thing as what we
is.
talked about before, the verbal assessment, when they have to know, you know, you're showing them where their kid's at, you know, and then they have to, you're never, no matter what business you're in, you're always gonna have customers that think they get quote hoodwinked when they're in a contract or whatever, but as long as we know from, in our heart, and we look in the mirror and we know we did everything at the assessment, and I know when people say I said something or did something, that I didn't do that, because I know I have the same talk
Right.
with everyone, and I think it's just you identifying and eventually Kathy and saying, these are 3 things we must go over at the end of the assessment, and that just becomes part of the process, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
that would
And
be
that's-
helpful to me. Another thing is, I didn't realize they were getting a Listen 360 survey or whatever after we finish with their assessment or after they sign up. I've never mentioned it,
Yeah.
and I think that's
That's
something
another
that would
big
help
yes.
me.
So,
Yeah.
one thing that I would
I've never
strongly
mentioned it.
recommend, and I don't think I've told you or Kay this, that I do, is when I'm enrolling a parent, I actually have a goal sheet that we go over our goals with one another, and they explain to me why they're signing up, what their stress points are, and when they terminate with me, we go back over those goals with one another and say, remember, we
Did we
signed
hit
up
these
because of this, you were staying up until 3 a.m., pulling out your hair, working on homework with little Susie. Now that you're comfortable and you haven't done that in 6 months, well, I think you're forgetting why we did this. We still have this much to go.
I love that.
I
Yeah.
like that.
It's helped us out a lot.
Can
And
you
you can
send-
also put little
can you send me
reminders
what you're
maybe to,
using?
yeah, I can send it over
And
to
then,
you.
I would love that.
It takes, 5 minutes
It-
while
it-
you're talking with
yeah,
that
I
parent.
could
and-
easily do, yeah, that would be
Yeah,
very
and-
helpful.
And that sheet can incorporate things,
Right.
you understand if you wanna terminate,
The cancellation, do.
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm trying to
They just don't
simplify
think
the
they're
process.
canceling. That's the problem. They don't think they're canceling.
Right, they think they're just ending.
They think,
It's
I
over.
signed my contract for 7 months.
And now
I'm
I'm
done.
done.
Yeah.
But
But it's not.
we gotta change
My thing is-
the way we're presenting.
We're
it
not
to
the only
customers.
business that does this. gyms, AT&T,
Everybody
Comcast,
does.
everyone does the rolling
With no mercy.
with no mercy.
It's
Absolutely.
whatever
It's like
the
you're a
correct
month
price
plus.
is,
Yeah,
that's
so
what you're paying.
That's
Yeah.
always my confusion with those families. It's like,
This
When
is
have
no
you signed up
different
for
than
anything else
anything else,
that's,
yeah.
that's like that?
Well, I think Billy said this to me, and I just want you guys to, and I've had other franchisees do this, is, I'm sorry, it's corporate policy. I mean, worst case,
Blame
you
it
know.
on.
Oh, I can blame you.
Oh, I do that all the time.
I
I throw
mean-
them under the bus all the time.
and not all the time, but I'm telling you, that does work sometimes when it's guidelines. And if you don't think gyms and everything that they
No,
just
they
said
do it
doesn't
all
do
the
that,
time.
they do it all the time.
No, and whenever
I think I still
know I'm
enjoy
gonna
going to
yell
gym,
at
but I don't
parent,
even
if have
remember
to,
where it
I need
was.
to text
You know, I come across a few parents that's like, well, I'll just cancel and close out that account or cancel a credit card. They can't bill me or they can't charge it.
Right.
I'm like,
I haven't had anybody do
No,
that.
I have.
One thing I do think is important to go over, because now it's for everyone's bonus as well. For Listen 360, it comes from Listen 360. It's not going to come from your Matt needs an email, and it only asks them one question: would you refer us to a friend? It doesn't say rate us 0 to 10. It says would you refer us to a friend? That likelihood, and then it gives that scale to them. So just something to keep in the
It's
back
just
of
one question.
Would you refer us to a friend?
That would be
How
good
or
to
how
know,
likely
yeah.
are you?
Yeah,
to
how
refer
likely
us
are you to
a
refer
friend?
us to a friend?
Yes.
And that
And a lot of people
encapsulates
It goes,
everything.
It goes up 30 days
Yes.
after they enroll,
Yeah.
and then it's a rolling 60 or 90
Wait,
days.
nine.
Every 60,
And you're
every
never
90
gonna get that perfect.
and then 30 days after they
'Cause I
unenroll.
know I never put it
some
on
people
the
think,
tab list.
some people
I
think,
just don't.
yeah.
Some people think an 8 is perfect.
That's what
And-
I
and
was
8
saying.
is
That's
Everybody
how-
can.
That's how I am.
There's
I
always
mean,
room for
when they
improvement.
ask me those
But
questions, I always
it
put
could be
8.
part of the enrollment process and the
Mhm.
SOP that I'm redoing.
That we
If at the
actually
end of your
not right.
enrollment, and they've enrolled, say, you are going to receive, I had to do this with AT&T
Yeah.
for 20 years.
Well, wait,
You're going to receive
I
a
didn't
survey,
realize
it's going to ask if you would refer us to a friend. Simple. Please, 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 but yes, and refer us to a friend.
I would make
You
it
need to
even more
ask for it.
straightforward. I would,
Please
we
give us
really
a
need
10.
a 9.
If you
You're
give me a
enjoying
10.
your experience with us. We need that 10 because you know what? We rely on your referrals, you know, to keep our business.
I think it's just
Yes.
educating them.
Yeah,
It
I
is.
think
Yeah.
it is. And
but
I
I'm
don't
on
think
board
we've
with
ever
you saying, yes, please give us a 10.
Give us a 10.
Yeah.
Give
Because
us that 10.
99% of the time, when they look at us like, oh, they said give them, okay, we need to click a 10.
It's
Yeah,
like when you
you
go
know,
buy a
like-
car, you get the survey instantly. Your
Exactly.
salesperson is saying to you, you're gonna get the survey. You need to give me the 5 stars.
Yeah.
Like they're literally begging you.
Oh yeah, Uber
Because
says
Well,
all
they
the
get the
time,
best
please
car
give me 5
selection.
stars. Yeah.
I found out.
Yeah, but I don't think my Uber's in.
Yeah.
But
I'm just one of those people.
So
who
you
wants
said
to-
30 days, 60
It goes after
30.
30 days when they enroll, and then 90, a rolling 90. So every
A rolling
90, even if they
90.
have
Okay.
done it before, even if they
Okay.
haven't, every single 90,
Does
they're
it
gonna
say the
get
same thing every time?
every single time. And
How
then
likely are you to refer us to a friend?
yes, and then on the account, if they have multiple guardians, like mom, dad, grandma, however many
It
are on it, it
goes
goes to
to
every
every
single
guardian.
guardian.
All
that's
right, yeah,
on
so
there
we
as
got,
well.
I could start with this, because I often
Like
get
I think they were
upset.
talking about how mom and dad didn't talk.
Yes.
I don't want to send it to mom. Maybe not tell her
Because
that.
I usually get the other parent that
Would
actually
they
responds.
immediately sign up for the next
Well,
year?
and another thing, you can ask Billy or Kay on Listen 360. You can manually send them another request in between there. So during post-assessment results, if it went very well,
That's your
say,
job.
hey, send
When you
such and
have-
such my Listen 360.
Yeah, if you just had an
Can
exceptional
we go in and say,
experience with
don't
a
send it to
parent.
dad?
Well, you have no control.
Yeah.
It will be sent
It's gonna
automatically.
get
It's sent to the email you have in radius.
Darn.
Okay.
There's
So
so
if you
many
don't
of
want it
those
to go to
parents.
dad, take the email out, but that they're likely gonna want
Well,
to be on.
but then yeah,
Yeah.
and they want to get the
They wanna get the
emails.
progress reports and
Some of those.
So I have a question on that, when you say send it to multiple, you got multiple guardians. When you add the guardian, because I know I had that situation a while back, 2 parents wanted to get the learning plan emailed to both of them, but they're not together, the parents, but both are bring the kid in, right? So dad said, can you add me to that? And so I added the guardian, mom threw a fit. Can we add guardians at any point, you know, if they're legally both parents?
Well, if the account, if the main account person is allowing it.
See, I feel like I didn't get mom's
If
permission.
mom was the main account person, then I would think you would need to get permission.
From the account
You would
holder.
need to
Yeah.
call mom and say, hey, dad's requesting to be included.
You should ask whoever signed up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did not at the end in this case, and yes, mom did come in, I said, I'll go in and remove him.
I've got many issues.
But it's just the learning plan, because dad
We
said,
have
oh, when I
so many
have
like
my
that.
child at my house, I wanna know where my child
Yeah.
stands, or where, you know, and
It's like anything else. I had to take privacy and security trainings and all of that stuff for millions of years. the account holder is the account holder. They have complete control, and you cannot add people or remove people without the account holder's permission. So like, I wanna cancel DirecTV so bad, but I'm not on the account, Bruce is, and he's too busy at work. So we still pay $175 every month to watch 4 channels, it's so stupid. You know, same, it's the same
Just like what they
thing.
said, blame it on corporate, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I know, it's corporate.
An easy out,
After
not,
I added
to, for
Eddie,
you don't have to take the blame.
you know, I to the account,
Yeah.
everything with the email, when Mom did get back in town, she came by the center and I asked her if that was okay, and she goes, oh yes, but I was out of the country, so definitely you'll need to have another phone number in case something happens.
I think she'd be okay with that since I gave her.
Now, can we
He's giving you my
see
cell phone
and
number.
we have a form for all
Yeah, we're just gonna blame it all on you.
I believe it's been done before.
Here's Robert's number.
I'll
You can
answer
take it
it.
up with him.
I'm good with that.
You're not like outside of.
You go up
center,
there.
but they come back and
It's good.
say,
Oh, no.
yeah,
You
I did.
can talk
Yeah.
about Billy.
And
Yeah,
then
we
put it
can.
back on me.
We can do that.
I'm sorry, question.
It's just a simple Google form.
Oh, yeah, no, that's right, I was supposed to let you do that at the beginning. I
No,
forgot.
no, you're fine. Guys, I'll tell you, I've been in corporate for quite a while, and I have been to many, many, many conventions. I'm sorry, don't mean to butter your muffin, but I've never been to one that I had more fun yesterday than I ever had at Billy.
Oh my
But
God.
the only issue I had, and we talked about it behind this person's back, but there is, you know, there's just something different about somebody from Tennessee. There's a text out there. And we talked about it, and, you know, I was like, likable, good-looking, young, jackass. But against my better judgment, we want to make you an honorary Texan, but you got to get up here. It's the wrong size, I'll return it, we will return it. But this is a unanimous, welcome to Texas, boy.
That's awesome.
Is it big enough?
A little bit.
It's better, as long as she stays out of the gym, we're okay.
Thank you.
Nice.
Awesome. That's
Perfect.
perfect.
Is important.
Yeah.
So,
One other question, Jennifer, you're keeping payroll, you're doing everything still, even
Yeah.
maybe with the title?
Yeah,
Sure.
she's still, and Kathy's still, they're both still in customer service too, they're just taking on additional roles, so.
Do you wanna talk about the,
Oh, yeah. I showed them yesterday, I think.
Camera? No, you only showed me, I think.
Okay.
Let it see.
So, this is something we learned from,
it's not complete yet, cause I've got some stuff coming.
this is gonna be one of y'all are gonna be tasked to do this pretty soon. We're picking out the best 5 schools in each territory. And, they're like,
They're like,
Okay.
they're not heavy.
and on the front, it's gonna have a sticker that says the school's name, like River Ridge
Math
Elementary.
Days Loves, River Ridge Elementary.
And then we're gonna have y'all deliver these. You probably have to start at the front desk, who knows, but you'll figure it out. And tell them we want you to put this in the teacher's lounge, and we're gonna come every couple of months and fill it up for you. If you run out before a couple of months, here's my card, give me a call, and we'll get the stuff to you sooner.
Sounds good.
We have about
20 of them.
20 of them made in the back. She just wanted to show y'all. They just got all kind of little stuff in them, and then we're gonna put some mathnasium gift certificate, you know, free
There'll
month.
be a, well, there'll be a brochure in there for math night. There's gonna be a flyer in there that talks about, that's geared more towards teachers, how mathnasium and the math teachers can team up to help, their students. And then there will be a printout in there that talks about keep this basket, don't throw it away. A representative from the company will be by every couple months to restock. Here's my name and phone number if you have any questions or need to reach me.
So
It'll be y'all's name and number.
these, in case you're watching over
Yeah.
there.
What about, can we put like the referral brochure
Yeah.
in there?
Actually, once you build a relationship with the teacher, you're gonna be able to put anything you want in there.
Yeah.
If you need to hire somebody, you can put need instructors in there.
Tell me, I mean, if they,
Yeah.
coach them, how do you get them to keep it in the same place? And
I I think again, it's more
That
actually
relationship.
building a relationship.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little dicey, I think, initially with some of the schools if they keep it or not, or even if they allow you to get into that
That's
teacher.
You're not gonna get any trouble.
It's all about those
with
gatekeepers, though. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
Several of the schools already know.
And
Yeah.
Billy and Kay might tell you, well, if they don't accept it, go to your sixth school then, or
Yeah.
something, until we can maybe transition and pivot ourselves into that original school
I don't
too.
have a problem with the first three.
You'll find,
If there's a-
because when we were focused on, we were living in Stein, you'll find once you get in with one,
Mhm.
they talk to each other.
It's easier to get into the
Like,
rest
it
of
took us
them.
forever to get our first math night, and once we got at River Ridge, Laura Bush wanted it, Steiner Ranch Elementary, they were calling us, when can we have a math night? You know? And
They
so,
send me emails all the time.
Mhm.
So I still send them to Kay
No,
when they
well,
have a request like that, or how are we doing?
For math nights?
Yeah, or anything, you know.
for now, don't change anything, and if we think it's something you need to handle, we'll just fire it back
Okay,
at you.
that's fine.
exactly.
Some of those things I don't know what I do and what I don't.
We're gonna, you're gonna be tasked goals to do so
Okay.
many per month, or so many per quarter, or stuff like that. We don't have that all figured out yet, we just know this is the direction we're going, is making y'all more involved in the community, which is the norm at Math Days. I mean, Dan will tell you, that is the,
My center directors all know they're responsible for math nights, galore, community events. They can certainly hit me up if they want me to go out there and help them staff it in some way, shape, or form. If it's their first one, I know that I'm going to be going out there, but they know what's expected. And if you think that's Mo, let me tell you, when I was working on his team, you should see the goals that we were set. Otherwise, our booty was out of there. So when I tell you, these are very realistic and very generous goals. They very
There's
much
some
are.
center
Oh my
directors that are
goodness.
required to make monthly visits to their schools.
Mhm.
Whether it's just bringing donuts,
Mhm.
whatever, they are required to make monthly visits, once a month.
but
to
it's
their
just,
school.
I mean, just, you
It's
knowing
just
your teachers
keeping
in
your
schools is
face
just
there,
good, you
yeah.
know? It's just, you are the face of the center, these are your centers, I want y'all to run them like you own them, you know, because they are, you know, I'll come and help when necessary, but I need y'all to do it, you know, I need y'all to be resilient, and so this is just the beginning of, everybody in Steiner Ranch knows that Leslie Stiegel's the center manager there, you know, and everybody around Circle C knows Kathy's the face of that place. And they talk, when they refer, they talk about you, you know, just,
Well, or her.
They don't know.
it's Kathy.
It's just Kathy.
We're
You're
not-
calling it.
We're like the two-headed beast that's
They're
running
constantly
around.
going, well, I talked to Kathy, and I was like, well, I'm sure you did, but
Kathy and
I
Hill.
don't know what's going on, so let's try it again.
I know.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Do you want me to discuss the SSES?
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
Okay,
definitely,
so there's a program that has come out recently that I believe it'll definitely affect like a lower income family, so possibly more Atascocita would benefit from this. However, if piggybacking on like the autistic or the special education children programs that you were discussing and possibly getting additional training on them, those children and those parents could also benefit from it. So it's called, I forgot the name. SSES, but it's Supplemental Special Education Services. And it's a program that's run by the government. They give the parents what's called an e-wallet once they're approved. And it will pay for, it's more based on a sessions package type amount of money, but it's $1,100 to $1,200, and don't quote me on that, but it's in that range.
1,500.
$1,500, thank you. But $1,500 as a grant ultimately given.
You get all that at once.
You
It's
get
not-
all
Yes.
in front.
Yeah.
So it would be given to somebody that would qualify, being that they have a live ARD on their record, and they are a special education child. And again, it's probably gonna be more so for the Atascocita Center, however, it does open it up for those parents that
What's
may
ARD?
not.
What's ARD?
It's something that, again, in schools, they call it an ARD.
It's an attention,
Attention.
it's a meeting that we come together to do what's best for the child.
Right, like my kids
To
are in
make
speech.
a learning.
No,
They're
I
in
got
speech
one.
therapy, and it's like the
Okay.
principal, the teachers, they
Well,
all
you
come
have
together
a
and there's
special education
sessions.
specialists, they've been tested.
So like Jimmy Owley,
Oh,
or
Owsley.
Owsley,
Yeah, so
she was really struggling to pay,
perfect example.
But her daughter's, the diagnosis
Super-
with.
she could apply for this
she could
grant.
apply,
Yes.
and then, yeah.
And then I had
exactly.
a, you're saying sessions package, but they could use that $1,500 to pay upfront for the
Upfront
12
for the
months.
12
And then
months.
it'll lower, it'll reduce their burden for the rest of the enrollment.
So what we need to do is we need to try to get information to the center directors that they can share with those parents like that. This is where you go to apply, this,
Yeah,
to see if you
That would be
qualify
very
for these
helpful,
funds,
yes,
because
to have
I would
that.
like to include that, a printout of that in the baskets too.
Cause I've had at least 2 parents lately who really had a hard time, that and, the one that's eventually online, whose mom's also crazy, but.
So,
that's a
and
whole
I-
other story.
and I called their team because they're very open to give support and education about it. They said that the schools are aware of it. However, I can probably guarantee you that the schools are not telling
No.
parents
Parents
about
about
it.
it.
Heavens no.
So, but
I have a
it is something
question.
that, it's not only on the website, and I can send all that information to you guys. But maybe Kay and I can come up with like some sort of pamphlet to give to y'all so that y'all can give those parents that would qualify for that. And then teaming up with the ladies that y'all met at the career events,
Yeah.
So-
that would offer that
So
kind
we
of
have,
training.
you have to get approved to be a quote vendor or whatever you call it, for somebody that can use this money. And Jennifer's been going through a couple month
We're already
process.
approved.
Approved now.
All 4 centers are approved. But yeah, Billy, I don't know if you heard, but they met a lady at their,
Hiring event.
hiring event that
I do.
works, specifically with autistic families on skills and how to deal with certain things. And she apparently offered to, for free, work
To
to
do a
do a
training.
seminar, a training with the
Wow.
instructors.
With our
To,
instructors and trying
how
figure out
to
how to
be a better instructor with those
With
disabilities,
autistic kids,
yeah.
yes.
It
That's
depends
awesome.
on how you look at them, how you talk with
Right.
them, how you even approach them.
manners,
Yeah,
yeah, all
that's extremely good. Now, you said ARD, what if they have an active 504?
What's
Okay,
that?
They're going into territory, I don't know.
Okay,
I think
A
that,
504 is like the IEPs essentially as well.
yeah,
yeah.
But
those are all, they should all, if they have arts,
Well,
they should
if-
all have 504s and.
What is a 504?
Okay, a 504 is for those children that don't really qualify for the special education resources, but then teachers still have the capability of accommodations and modifications to help them through the school year.
though it's
So,
neglected a lot.
like
in schools.
speech, it's probably
usually-
like my kids,
Yeah,
yes,
speech is more of a 504 than a child with autism, and they're more under the RLE special ed. That's where you have a teacher 30 years sitting across from you. that
With
did a lot.
the students that are special needs, autism spectrum and everything, for me, I've always been the mentality of making sure that they can just fit in that environment. I've never really tried to deeply target those families because it's so kids. It's some students you wouldn't even realize that there's.
We're not
so-
targeting them, but I would say it's been a big change. I would say that the population has changed so much in the
There's a
last
lot.
18 months.
Okay.
When I first started working with the hand, I would say the majority of the kids who came in were like, oh, he has ADHD, oh, he has ADHD, oh, he has ADHD.
Yeah.
I would say this last 12 months, almost every kid that has come in has some level of been diagnosed with
Yeah.
some level of anxiety.
Mhm.
And I would say a lot, I mean, we're getting so many that have been on the spectrum now.
Yeah. Okay. And
Yeah.
ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, dyscalculia, things
Those
like
are
that. They're
504s.
yeah.
They're not,
Some of the kids
But
have
it-
nothing wrong
But
with it.
one thing,
Right.
yeah, well, and a lot of the families I have to warn them, the 504s are neglected heavily. in
Intuitive,
schools. Now, but
yes.
on your
Being
STAR and
serene.
things like that, where
That helps.
they can work on for a elongated time, that's something I always tell my families to push for, because that's worth its weight in gold. And when it comes to the STAR and things like that, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They will give them
Yeah.
the extra time allotted or whatever it is.
I've also, if a parent brings in
It
a
is the
copy
STAR
of the
here,
ARD,
Yeah.
which is a federal document, and it's in place for that child, and or the 504
I've been
paperwork,
doing it a while.
and one of them
A
says,
few different-
because of their disability, it's the
I
amount,
didn't know, but I was very.
Operational part, they get a little small calculator that they can use. It is an accommodation that they by law, do we have to follow?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have to follow.
We don't have to follow it.
You
No, we're not
Or it's a
education,
fake.
teaching.
No, I don't give them their calculator, they don't need it.
Well,
Yeah.
Miami, you know.
Cause they're not under any time pressure.
That's true. I mean, they can,
Now, what
but
it
it
is
is.
too, when they
Cause you
do
don't
ask
bring
for a calculator and
Nope. For the top.
even if you see that they may need it.
Nope, calculator, except for homework.
I don't even know how to do it for homework.
Oh, sure.
Well,
So
I
I
did,
do-
I did, I asked them.
I do let them have it for homework, because if their teacher allows them for homework,
That's
then
what
I'm
we
not
asked.
letting them do it.
There's homework that has nothing to do with magnesium.
But you are all set
Leave the
up
laptop
for it.
on.
Is there
We're all set
I
up
turn,
for
yeah, but I'll turn it off.
So
that's fine. I can
So
just
when they
ask
bring
them
the
to-
forms in, we submit forms, or they do everything and they just bring you the documents?
Ultimately, we would have to provide them an invoice, and they use that invoice to upload onto their e-wallet website.
It's I've talked to owners that are already doing it, and they say it's super easy.
It's not a convoluted process.
Yeah, and
So if
they go,
don't
they
get
choose,
visitors?
they can log into
Just
their,
so
their
it's
e-wallet
awesome.
at the center, yes. And they would choose the vendor, which would be Lyceum Investments, Magnesium. Choose the vendor, and then it's submitted after they have already uploaded their document, and they transfer the funds
It's just
to
like you
us.
run your credit card. it just goes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
it's just
it's
really.
The rules
Oh,
are all-
invoice from the radius, right?
Correct, yes.
Because the money
Yeah.
will, will hit.
They do that today's
You'll go to invoices and, well, I guess it would.
We'll give y'all more training on the next.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and say
Yeah.
everyone advertising of that right now, because I don't want parents coming up to me and say, well, I wanna give it a try, I wanna see if I
It's
qualify.
it's
Yeah.
really just, those few and far betweens, honestly, if you have, you already have.
And there are
started with-
specific kids, you know, that they
Yes.
can qualify, and they'll,
Yeah.
it won't be.
Yeah.
And it's really gonna come from
They
those
took her
questions
out
that
of
y'all have.
aftercare.
Y'all could probably Google it and read
Yeah.
all about
I
it.
know, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
her mom wanted her in enough that they took her out of aftercare.
So lunch just arrived, we're gonna eat over at the porch again like we did last night, and, y'all can make sure you take your shirt, you take your glass when you do finally leave after lunch, you can leave it here for now and come back and get it if you like. Thank y'all for taking out, especially Labor Day weekend, I know that was kinda your 3-day weekend, and I ruined it a little bit, but,
I didn't even
But
know.
we have
That's why saving grace, Billy, because I gotta go to the center tomorrow, and then on Monday I'll have off.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why-
honestly,
I'm
you
not
saved
gonna
me.
lie, I do get this
For my
Monday
kids.
off.
And then it's a
Although
nice
I'm still
little
gonna go home
3-day
with that
work
now.
week, basically.
And then I get Friday.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You guys, I don't know about
Saturday
you.
and Sunday.
I'm gonna use the restroom, and I'm not gonna lock it this time.
Okay. Yeah,
You locked yourself
almost
in the
locked
restroom
yourself.
right
He's like,
Help.
And then we all got real quiet and we're listening to him struggle.
What's the word?
What do you do? Hand out the bottom of the door, say help?
I couldn't get out of my room this morning, I
Yeah,
was
let's-
like,
Can I put it up?
Like they had you trapped.
I was like a little bit worried, I was like, call down and come on.
How is that looking? I've never stayed there.
Pretty nice.
Is it nice?
Yeah.
I know that it was,
So did we get you both?
Breakfast was good.
Are we still having the
We
Yeah,
mentioned that actually, we might not, because
Yes.
of the transfer.
Yes, that's
but it is
we
still
need
gonna
to
go
agree
through the
for it.
director's report and
Yeah.
divvy out his bonus.
Yes. Oh, that's still today? No,
No,
not today,
not
no,
today.
no.
But sometime in
Yeah.
March.
We're
No,
good.
but
I'm
this
doing,
one-
I got,
Overall,
that's
period.
my activity, so I don't get any bonuses in my.
Yeah, you did.
You didn't get to six.
So I just didn't know.
That would have been nice.
You got to six.
Oh, no, 5.
There he is.
Okay, then you're good.
Oh,